On February 27, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Security cameras outside the CVS Pharmacy on William Street recorded a harrowing moment. A young woman, visibly panicked, sprinted across the parking lot as the sound of gunfire erupted. Within seconds, she collapsed to the ground. Onlookers screamed in horror, and a red car was seen fleeing the area. That young woman was 17-year-old Kemari Childress, and in those terrifying moments, her life was taken in a shocking act of violence. To understand how things spiraled into this tragedy, we must go back in time, back to a chapter of Kamari's life filled with hope, ambition, and the emotional complexities of young love. December 2023, just 3 months before. Kamari had recently completed her studies at Central Academy High School, graduating early. She was motivated and focused on her future, particularly in the pharmaceutical field. With determination in her heart, she secured a job at CVS as a pharmacy technician and planned to advance toward becoming a licensed pharmacist. Outside of work, Kamari embraced the joys of teenage life. She enjoyed traveling, capturing moments through photography and TikTok videos, shopping, spending time with family and friends, and sharing her life on social media. Her profiles were filled with joyful pictures, dance routines, and heartfelt posts, hallmarks of a young woman with a bright future. Among the many aspects of her life she shared publicly was her relationship with 20-year-old Tre'marion Jones, more commonly known by his nickname, Trey. Kamari and Tre'marion appeared deeply connected during their relationship. Their closeness was visible across their online content. Videos of shared laughter, affectionate posts, and moments that painted the image of a happy couple. However, not all was perfect behind the scenes. The relationship eventually came to an end. Though details about the breakup remain private, what's certain is that Kamari moved forward, emotionally and romantically. She began seeing someone new, and her social media reflected this new chapter. Her posts glowed with contentment, highlighting her happiness with her new boyfriend. But not everyone welcomed this change. On January 2024, the jealousy surfaced. Tre'marion struggled to accept the breakup. He began messaging Kamari in an attempt to win her back. Some of his messages carried romantic undertones, while others revealed a possessive edge. Kamari shared screenshots of the exchange in a Facebook post that later went viral. His messages included, "You look so good. You so bad, man. Just be mine again. I'd send yo mama a thank you text for making you this fine." Kamari captioned the screenshots with sarcasm. "Shut the feck up and pay me my trigger tray." While the exchange might have seemed like playful teenage banter, it masked a rising tension that was building behind the scenes. Tuesday, February 27, 2024, began like any other. Kamari arrived at CVS to start her shift, unaware that this would be the last day of her life. That afternoon, around 2:30 p.m., a red vehicle pulled into the parking lot. Inside were 3 individuals, one of them being her former boyfriend, Tre'marion Jones. A heated argument broke out. Kamari tried to de-escalate by heading to her car, likely intending to remove herself from the situation. But the confrontation quickly turned deadly. Tre'marion exited the red car, pulled out a gun, and began firing. Kamari ran for her life. Witnesses watched in horror as she was struck multiple times and collapsed on foot in the parking lot. A 53-year-old construction worker, who was working at a nearby site, was also hit during the chaos. Though he survived his injuries, Kamari did not. She was rushed to the hospital, but was tragically declared dead shortly after. Roughly 10 minutes after the shooting occurred, surveillance cameras caught Janet Kane returning to the crime scene. She was seen picking up a phone from the ground, allegedly one left behind during the incident. Authorities later arrested her for tampering with physical evidence. That same evening, law enforcement located a car believed to be involved in the incident. As officers attempted a traffic stop, the vehicle sped off, initiating a high-speed chase. When the vehicle finally came to a stop, 3 individuals bolted from it on foot. Police apprehended 2 of them, Tre'marion Jones and Jamia Smith. The 3rd individual managed to evade capture. The next day, law enforcement formally filed charges against those involved. Tre'marion Jones was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree assault, armed criminal action, unlawful use of a weapon, and resisting arrest. Jamia Smith was charged with hindering prosecution and resisting a lawful stop. Yoni Kane, another person allegedly involved, was charged with tampering with physical evidence. All three were ordered held without bond. During police questioning, Tre'marion claimed that he opened fire because he thought someone else was shooting at him. However, investigators found no evidence to back up that claim. Kamari's loved ones were devastated. Her 18th birthday was just around the corner. Instead of preparing for a celebration, her family and friends gathered at Cape County Park to honor her memory with a balloon release. Dozens of yellow and black balloons filled the sky, each one a symbol of the light Kamari brought to their lives. She always had a smile on her face. She had goals. She knew what she wanted. She just wanted to help everyone, her mother, Jessica Fox, said through tears. The tragedy reignited urgent conversations about gun violence, mental health, and teenage relationships in the Cape Girardeau community. Advocates, including Leslie Washington, voiced their sorrow and frustration. This affects not just her family, it touches friends, classmates, the entire community, Washington said. She stressed the importance of holding people accountable and standing by grieving families long after news headlines fade. As of now, Tre'marion Jones remains behind bars, awaiting trial. He has pleaded not guilty, and the case is making its way through the legal system. The court has not yet determined his fate, but one thing is clear. The justice system is now tasked with seeking answers for the life of a young woman gone far too soon. Kemari Childress was a vibrant, intelligent, and driven teenager. She had her entire future ahead of her, one that promised growth, success, and joy. But in one senseless moment, it was all taken away. She didn't get the chance to apply to colleges, pursue her dream career, or celebrate her 18th birthday. There is no justification for what happened. Her story is a painful reminder that arguments should never end in bloodshed, and that unresolved jealousy can spiral into tragedy. May her memory inspire reflection, change, and accountability. Here are 5 powerful lessons we can learn from the tragic story of Kemari Childress. 1. Trust your instincts. Red flags matter. Kamari's story shows how abuse often hides behind charm or control. James Webb may have seemed like a trusted figure, but his behavior carried warning signs. Lesson: if something feels wrong in a person's behavior, words, or energy, it probably is. Don't dismiss your gut feeling. 2. Children's voices must be heard and believed. Many victims of child abuse drop subtle or even obvious hints, but their concerns are often ignored or minimized by adults. Lesson: take children seriously. If a child expresses fear, discomfort, or distress, investigate and act, even if it means asking hard questions. 3. Toxic relationships can turn deadly. What started as emotional manipulation and control eventually escalated into a violent, irreversible crime. Lesson: toxicity in relationships doesn't always stay emotional. It can become physical and even fatal. Don't normalize or excuse controlling behavior. 4. Silence protects abusers, not victims. Whether from fear, shame, or loyalty, people often remain silent about abuse, and that silence can cost lives. Lesson: speak up. Whether you're a friend, neighbor, teacher, or family member, say something if you suspect someone is being hurt. Silence enables violence. 5. Not everyone close to you is safe. James Webb was close to the family, but proximity doesn't equal safety. Many victims know their abuser well. They may live with them. Lesson: teach children and adults that trust must be earned, not assumed. Familiarity doesn't mean someone has your best interests at heart. These lessons aren't just for viewers. They're calls to action for families, communities, and systems meant to protect the vulnerable. Kamari's story reminds us how urgent it is to pay attention, protect, and prevent.